She ignored the signs. She forgave the excuses. But when she found the second phone hidden in his gym bag, something inside her snapped. Not just heartbreak, but a lifetime of pain came roaring to the surface. This isn't just a story about betrayal. It's about what happens when a woman, unloved in childhood, finally decides she's had enough. Let's call her Emma, not her real name. She came to see me 3 months after the breakup, but the real pain had started long before that. Emma grew up in a home where emotions were either ignored or punished. Her mother was cold, her father physically present, but emotionally absent. No hugs, no I love yous, just silence. She learned early that love had to be earned by being useful, quiet and small. I remember the story she told me about when she was 14. She had put on her favorite t-shirt, tied her hair up, and asked her father, "How do I look?" hoping for a kind word without even looking up from his newspaper. He said, "A woman has to stay slim. No man will love you if you're fat." That night, she skipped dinner for the first time, and almost every night after that. By 15, she was on constant diets, not to be healthy, but to be lovable, because at home she'd learned love was a transaction, and your body was the price. Sometimes the most damaging messages aren't yelled, they're said casually, like facts. But to a child, they become the inner voice that says, "I'm not good enough. I have to earn love by being perfect." That's the belief Emma carried into every relationship. And then came Daniel, charismatic, attentive. He called her princess, opened doors, texted her every morning, hugged her just because. Most importantly, he listened. He looked her in the eye. He didn't interrupt. They met by chance in line at a coffee shop. He joked about her bag, she laughed, and 5 minutes later, he had her number. And 5 days after that, he was holding her hand. He told her he loved her in the second week, said, "I've been looking for someone like you. With you, it finally feels real." And she believed him. For the first time, she felt chosen. She saw him as a real man, strong, caring, honest. Emma told me, "I fell head over heels in love with him. It felt like I was finally home. I would have done anything for him. I would have moved for him, forgiven him, changed for him, anything." This wasn't just falling in love. This was the feeling of finally being seen and chosen. But what she didn't notice were the little things. People who grow up emotionally neglected often idealize anyone who shows them basic care. If you've never been held, even simple kindness can feel like magic. But that's not love. That's hope disguised as love. Hope that someone will finally fill the emptiness inside. Bathroom scene. Betrayal revealed. The bathroom is silent, only drops of water ringing in the sink. The fogged mirror reflects her face. Red eyes, broken breath. In her hand, his phone cold, heavy, like a stone pulling her down. Her fingers tremble as she scrolls through the messages, each word cutting into her heart like a blade. "When will we meet again? I miss you." A selfie with someone else's smile. Her laughter in another chat. Her knees buckle. She sinks onto the edge of the tub, pressing her hand against her mouth to keep the screen from escaping. Scenes flash before her eyes. How he brushed off her questions, how he threw phrases like bullets. "You're paranoid, you're imagining things, go fix yourself." And all the while he carried a spare life in his gym bag. Her cheeks burn with rage. In her chest, a knot tearing to break free. She feels like a fool, blinded in plain sight. 2 worlds, one with him at the table, in shared evenings, in warm blankets, the other in his messages, where her place was erased and replaced with another. She steps closer to the mirror, her eyes full of fury and despair. She whispers to her reflection, barely audible, but each word like a shot. "It's not me, it's him." The phone slips from her hand, crashing onto the tiles, the sound slicing through the room. She curls up, hugging herself, and in that silence, for the first time, she allows the tears to flow, no longer from helplessness but from the rupture that will never heal. She didn't scream. She didn't cry, at least, not immediately. She made dinner, smiled, wished him good night, and then she began to act. The shot changes. On the table, a laptop. The cursor glides across the screen. Windows close one by one. Shared accounts are logged out. Passwords are changed. She erases his access to their world. Her face is calm, precise, even with a faint smile, as if this were a ritual of cleansing. She opens the closet. Her hands carefully fold his shirts, t-shirts, sneakers, each item a testament to his falseness. The bag fills with the past. Her movements are slow, deliberate. No trembling, no chaos. This is not a tantrum, it's a surgical cut. Emma didn't just leave, she took back her power. Some may call this petty revenge, but I call it psychological restoration. When someone betrays you in a way that touches old childhood wounds, sometimes a symbolic act is necessary to begin healing. It's not about him, it's about her. In this silence, there is something scarier than a scream. It's the silence of someone who is no longer afraid. In the morning, he woke up. An empty house. Not a single call, only one photo on the kitchen counter. Emma smiling. This was the last time he saw her. He stirred in bed, eyes heavy with sleep and confusion. The apartment was silent, too silent. His hand instinctively reached for the phone, and he scrolled the screen, hoping for a message, a missed call, any sign of her presence. Nothing. Emptiness. His chest tightened. He dialed her number again, then again, hope shrinking with every ring. He left messages, and all he heard was the hollow echo of the voicemail. The photo caught his eye. Emma's smile, bright and calm, frozen in time. It almost seemed mocking. Though he couldn't admit it to himself, a knot of despair and disbelief twisted in his stomach. He had expected something, an argument, a confrontation, maybe even tears. But this, the silence, the deliberate absence, tore him in half. Deep down, a pang of sorrow rose. Somewhere inside he had known she would leave, but seeing it, feeling the finality, was worse than he had imagined. The house felt too big, too empty, a reflection of the void he had created by betraying her trust. He leaned against the wall, breathing heavily, staring at the photo. For a fleeting moment, he imagined calling her back, saying everything he should have said years ago. But the photo didn't move. She didn't answer. She was gone. And he was left with the cold, undeniable truth. This was the end. Emma's problem was not within herself, but in the systematic devaluation of her trust. When a partner constantly dismisses her feelings, calling her paranoid or needing therapy, it creates an internal conflict. You start doubting your own perceptions and the value of your emotions. Emma experienced betrayal that activated old childhood wounds, leaving her confused and overwhelmed. Yet, instead of remaining in the role of the victim, she made a conscious choice to reclaim control and her personal power. Symbolic actions, closing shared accounts, packing her belongings, leaving the house, were not revenge against him, but a ritual of psychological restoration. When a person reclaims control over their own space and sets boundaries, they not only protect themselves but also begin to heal internal wounds. Emma completed the cycle. She acknowledged her pain, felt it, and used it to strengthen herself. Her departure from the relationship was not an escape, but a deliberate reclaiming of her own strength, autonomy, and dignity. If Emma's story resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear this. And subscribe for more real stories, psychological insights, and tools to help you reclaim your emotional power.